Hey, deformed car fans. Trying out a new scale and new brand. Mainly because there's not many Chorokyus I want to get anymore. I stumble into some new castings every now and then, but I originally saw Hakusuka and ordered one off eBay, but FedEx and the customs department in this corrupt country I live in pretty much seized it. So there's a whole video on that. You gotta look up eBay and FedEx. But anyways, let's move on with today's subject. So I have a different Skyline. This is the R34. And so these are called drive town cars, I guess. And this is number one. So I think they've come out with many collections. This is what I'm assuming. Some Japanese stuff doesn't help there. What's funny is it says real proportion, which makes no sense because this doesn't look anything like a real car. It's deformed, right? So I don't know. The English is just not very good on this Japanese product. Okay, so it says ST22, so this came out in 2022. It is officially licensed by Nissan. It's a pullback toy, and the company is called Maruka.jp if you want to check out that website. Maybe I'll actually check that out one day. Perhaps it's a resource for these. Alright, well, let's get this open. Seems to be new, but that's a good way to scratch it up already. Well, this is interesting. What are these? This is just a piece of cardboard. I thought it was a sticker, but no. It's just a piece of cardboard. So, oh, maybe you could cut these out, fold them in half, and they become like barriers to, I don't know, do what? Because it's a pullback car. It's not an RC car. Oh, see, you take two and you merge them together. You'll take some scissors. Alright, well, anyways. Oh, this is good. Oh, so I see. That belonged up there. And then you have the blister protecting it. Nice, we have a little catalog. So let's see what else is available in 2022. There's an R35 in orange. Lancer Evo 10. The Trueno. Was that AE86 or something? I have no idea what that is. Some K-Class van, I assume. Mazda, the Hustler, a double-decker bus, the Chimney, the NSX. I forget if that's a Daihatsu or a Mitsubishi Leo. Oh, the RX-7 and the RX-8, and then the old Subaru 360. Some weird construction vehicles. And there's even more. Some more construction vehicles. Maybe a Daihatsu Hijet, but I don't know for sure. That's the Honda S600, a Prius. That's an older Lancer. I guess an Evo 3. Sorry, and it looks like a Subaru Legacy wagon of some sort. I was just guessing. I can't read Japanese. There are also these box sets, but unfortunately they're all very non-enthusiast box sets. Like they're just for kids, right? There's no like famous cars in these things, right? So those boxes are of no use to me. But yeah, that's interesting. There are a few cars. It's not really my intention to collect this scale because of the size, but possibly I do like the FD3S, and I really want to get the Hakusuka, and maybe I can marry Skyline, and then that'll be at the end. Oh, there's an NSX, but it's a police car. I don't really like the Japanese police car liveries. I think they're kind of silly. Alright, well, let's look at the deformation of this thing. So here's an R34. I'm going to assume this mold came out in the past and they probably had the proper color back then, but they changed the color to let people know this isn't an original one. Kind of like how pretty much all brands do, really, Hot Wheels and stuff like that. So, yeah, interesting. And then here's the rear view. Look at the lights. We've got some badges. It actually looks pretty good, the rear view. Well, for a toy. And then you can see the deformation is definitely unique. Well, first thing is obviously the wheels are staggered, like a Hot Wheels or Chorokyus, really. I guess, I don't know what's first, Chorokyus with this bigger rear wheels or Hot Wheels. I'm not sure who came first. Anyways, yeah, the wheels, they're they're oddly shaped. I'm not sure why, but this must have to do with the mold process. But there's two dents there, but they're not on every spoke, right? So those are probably like ejector pins or something to get them out of the mold, but it just looks weird, right? It would have been better to just have a dent in every spoke or none at all. I mean, other companies don't have such weird things going on in their wheels. So that's poorly designed, actually. There's obviously no brake system. This is literally a toy for kids to wind up and ram into walls. But it's blanked off back there. It might be the tire is actually trapping this whole thing because it feels squishy when I put my thing in there. I guess you could actually modify it and put brakes in there because it's quite gappy. See how far the pick is going in? So the tires are nice and realistic. I mean, they look like modern tires. They are obviously rubbery because the thing's a pullback toy. It needs a traction to get speed going. And yeah, you can see on the back it's like blanked off. So, interesting. Yeah, I can really see it in the front. So that's kind of weird. I'm not sure why they had to do that because Chorokyus don't do that and they're smaller. Anyways, the blue is just the molded plastic. It's not metallic either, it's just a straight blue. I mean, it does look like the photographs, coincidentally. And then it does have this badging, tampo printed, no decals, being a kid's toy. So that's nice. There's a raised reflector, but no paint. The door handle's raised, and a little recess for the fingers, but no paint. But it is body colored on the photographs. There's no silver paint for the mirror, which is just kind of molded into the A-pillar. The windows are all blacked out, I think. Let me get a flashlight here. Yeah, it's totally opaque. It's not smoked like a Chorokyu. Okay, that's fine. I don't need an interior. Okay, the door panel cuts are really good. They don't stop short like on a Chorokyu. It's literally the whole door cut. So, and even this little cut there. So that's nice. Going to the front, it's nice to see that we have some clear headlights, and there's a little bit of that Fresneling texture, so it makes it look more headlight-like. Unfortunately, there's no paint here for like the turn signal, which is clear in the photos. But there's a nice fine texture in the grills, and they are black. I think this is black paint. I think this is a black plastic insert because it's more matte, and I can see like a gap right there. So, but not here. These don't have any black paint, but they're deep enough that they look dark. This one here, yeah, it's an insert, and it's got the GTR printed on it, which is nice. The license plate is printed on nicely. It's actually a sync mark from the mold process. I think it would have been better if it had no license plate at all. Okay, a little gappy here. Not the most tight finish, right? Not Chorokyus seem better and they're smaller. Okay, my fingerprints over it. It would have been nice if there's black paint here, but there is none. The bumps for the wiper fluid, I guess those possibly might be body colored, I can't tell. But the wiper blades are molded in, and they're just, you know, black like the rest of the windscreen, which is okay. This side of the car here, yeah, looks alright, I guess. The fuel filler door. The wing is a separate piece, and it's, now this wing kind of looks like it's got some metallic flake in there. It's a different blue. It's slightly different. Or maybe the light is getting through it. I think it actually might be a different blue. Which is odd. Anyways, there's air passing under it, which is nice. There's also a wiper blade here in the back window, raised. So, yeah. The struts here for the wing are relatively thin, so that's nice. Considering it's a pullback toy, I'm surprised they aren't thicker. You could probably break that wing pretty easily. In fact, I've seen photos of these used with the wings broken. Okay, well, the molded in taillights are painted red. Not metallic red, though, just regular red. It would have been nice if this was orange in the middle. Alright, now we have the GTR printed nice and legibly there. The Nissan, I can't really say I can read it, but you get the general outline. The Skyline looks good, and this is a V-Spec 2, I guess. Looks good. No paint here for the reflector or the backup light. Again, this is nicely done though, the Skyline printing. Now this is really weak, the exhaust here. You know, being just molded into the body like that and not even painted silver. It would have been nice if maybe they did like 164 stuff where these exhaust pipes were part of the base, you know, to give it a separate color. Third brake light thing is recessed, but no paint there. Okay. Yeah, see, it would have been cool. They could have easily done that, I think, have the exhaust pipes be part of this. Yeah, other brands can do it. Anyways, there's a lot of undercarriage details, and what it tells you is there's a GTR, and it tells you what body style it is, which is nice. So we know it's a BN R34. We know it's made in China. What's odd is it doesn't... Oh, wait, maybe it's here. The light has to hit it, though. Manufactured under license from Nissan. Okay. But it doesn't tell you who makes this toy. It doesn't say Maruka. I've also seen things labeled as TTC Drivetown. So I don't see any Maruka or TTC. And then we have 2 screws in the front, 2 screws in the back. But, you know, there's no reason to open it because there's no interior. I guess you could do a wheel swap, but I don't even know where you'd get the wheels because they're staggered, right? So, anyways, the tire clearance isn't so bad. It doesn't look too gappy. Considering it's a functional toy. I don't know. Let's see. I bet this thing goes very fast. Because you just saw me, I only wound that up like 30 centimeters. Or like a little over a foot. And that thing just kept on spinning and spinning. Oh, there's a clicking noise. That has a satisfying whirring sound to it. So, anyways, I'm not going to ram this into a wall. I just bought it because I like Skylines and not to play with it. But if you do want to play with it, I'm going to guess they're relatively durable, although I kind of feel like the headlights might fall out. But, you know, I'm sure they must design the front end to be pretty thick to ram into walls, but don't break your model based on my assumptions. Alright, well, all in all, I'm pretty happy with it, I guess. It's just a different type of deformation. It's big, though, so that leads to the question, like, what scale would this be? Here's a 1/43rd scale. I think this is an IXO, or I forget. It's one of those generic, cheap die-cast cars. Like, literally, they're like $15 delivered from eBay. But it's a Ferrari. It looks pretty nice. 1/43rd scale is way small. I think the biggest thing I have right now is this 1/30th scale Toyota Sienta, which is a pretty small minivan. I think it's based on a Toyota Altis or Corolla. It's actually pretty nice. I don't think I've ever reviewed it, but there's actually a lot of cool details going inside of that thing. Well, let me know if you guys want me to review this. I just know most North Americans have never even heard or seen this car, so never bothered to do it. So 1/30th is huge. 1/43rd is small. Let me look up the dimensions of an R34. Alright, so the internet says this has an overall length of 4,600 millimeters, so now I gotta get the length of this and put it into that number. So overall length. This is 107. Yeah, 107. So this divided by 107. If we go by overall length, this is around 1/43rd scale. Okay, now let's try the wheelbase one. So 2665 divided by these points here in the middle of the wheels, so that's good. I'm going to go with 48.3. Now that's 1/55th scale, right? So this is some strange deformation where it has really long overhangs. In particular, the rear overhang seems very long. Anyways, now what I think I like to measure my deformed stuff is the width of it, actually, because there's different types of deformation. As you'll see, I'll bring out a Cherokee and how they do it. So what is the width? 1785 divided by, I'm going to say that doesn't include the mirrors, 53. 133. So maybe that's not right because this is 1/30th. I mean, I guess that could be possible actually when I think about it. Because this is a narrow car, based off a Corolla, and an R34, even though it's an older car, I think is a wider car in real life, if I had to guess. But it's so low. Well, this is a minivan, so yeah, maybe this is around one. I'm gonna list it as like 130 something. 132, I think, might be a common pullback scale. But yeah, you can see the wheels here. They're actually around 130 here in the front, but the rears would definitely be a much larger scale overall. Alright, so you can decide what scale you think that is based off those three dimensions. So here is a Chorokyu of an R34, and you'll see what Chorokyu does. They have such short overhangs. What I think Chorokyu does is literally maybe takes the images of a full-size thing and squish it equally and then add new wheel wells. But what I think is going on here, I don't really know how they do this. I'm not sure how they're squishing this. Maybe they're actually... it looks like the roof is really low. Maybe they're just squishing it a little bit this way and a lot more vertically. I find construction of toys interesting. So, but yeah, Chorokyu is very small, right? Chorokyus are roughly 1/64 scale in their width, so, but they're obviously much shorter. And they have these annoying coin holders that block the rear view. So this thankfully doesn't have that blocking the view. Okay, well, let's get this thing spinning. I forgot, a 1/64 scale car. Here's a Kyosho of a R34. So here's the top view. So you can see the churro is kind of similar in its width. And this is just simply massive. It's almost 2 times as wide, so that would make sense if it's around 1/30th scale. Alright, well, I guess the issue is I don't know what these things retail for in Japan. If anyone's nice enough to actually able to write in English what the retail price of these are in Japan, and even like where are they sold in Japan? Are they sold at like department stores, or specific toy stores, or are they just found everywhere? That would be interesting to know. I'd really like to look into this some more. Maybe actually check the retail outlets on the Japanese websites. But unless someone does do that, I'm just gonna have to just assume. Yeah. Anyways, you can find these on eBay. But yeah, you want to make sure you don't use FedEx. Watch that video of how I pretty much lost the Hakusuka from that deal. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I'll if I can find some of these at a decent price, I'll pick up some more, and well, we'll see what happens in the future, right? Thanks for watching today. Take care now. Bye.